Just then, our attention was drawn by the approach of some people, flying at ground level beneath the branches of the trees. They sat down at the entrance to the egg, unfastened their taras, and placed them on a block of marble, no doubt there for the purpose. One after the other, they entered, and I recognized, with pleasure, Biastra and Latoli and the rest of the crew from the spacecraft. They had changed from their space uniforms into long Arabian-style robes of shimmering colors. Later, I was to understand why the color of each robe was so flattering to the individual who wore it. For the moment, it was difficult to believe these were the same people I had known and spoken with on the spacecraft. They were so completely transformed. Latoli approached me, a radiant smile lighting up her face. Placing her hand on my shoulder, she said, telepathically, "You seem somewhat stunned, my dear. Are our habitations not to your liking?" She read my affirmative and admiring response, and was delighted by it. Turning back to the others, she relayed my response, and comments flew thick and fast, everyone talking at once. They had all sat down, looking much more at home in their seats than I felt in mine. I felt as odd as a duckling among chickens in that my size corresponded with nothing that had been built on their scale. Thao went to the kitchen and filled a tray with things to eat. Then, at a word from her, all hands were held out in the direction of the tray, which rose slowly in the air. It moved around the room, stopping before each guest, without her having to touch it. Finally, it stopped in front of me and, with great caution, lest it fall, which vastly amused everyone, I took a glass of hydromel. The tray departed of its own accord, returning to its place of origin, and all hands were lowered. "How is that done?" I asked Thao. My question was understood telepathically by everyone, and there was a general burst of laughter. "By what you would call levitation, Michel. We can, as readily, lift ourselves in the air, but that serves no great purpose other than our own amusement." Having said that, Thao, who was sitting cross-legged, began to rise above her seat and floated about the room, finally coming to rest in midair. I stared at her, but soon realized I was the only one fascinated by her accomplishment. Indeed, I must have looked idiotic, for all eyes were fixed on me. Evidently, Thao's behavior was perfectly normal to my friends, but they were more interested in the astonished expression on my face. Thao descended slowly on to her seat. "That demonstrates one of the many sciences you have lost on Earth, Michel, apart from a few individuals who are still capable of doing it.